He's so hot, Lisa said about the capo. Leo DeLuca heard every word. His hand froze around the crystal coffee cup. For a second, the busy Manhattan office disappeared. No phones, no keyboards, no deals. Only that sentence ringing in his head. He's so hot. About Logan Davis, his capo. Leo didn't blink. He kept his eyes on the floor-to-ceiling windows behind his glass desk, pretending to check the city. But his focus was on the reflection. Lisa Lewis, his secretary, standing near the doorway, cheeks a little pink, fingers pressed to her lips like she hadn't meant to say it out loud. And Logan? Logan was at the side table, sipping his black coffee, relaxed, sleeves rolled, tattoos peeking from his forearms. He turned his head, surprised, one eyebrow lifted. "Excuse me?" Logan asked, half amused. Lisa's eyes widened. I didn't mean to say that out loud." Leo placed his cup down with care. His jaw tightened. His heartbeat changed speed. No one saw it, but he felt it. That burning mix of jealousy and something else he hated admitting. Because Lisa worked for him. Because Logan worked for him. Because that sentence should never have existed between them. And still, there it was. He's so hot. How far would that go? How far would Leo let it go? The first time Lisa Lewis ruined her own life, it was 8:43 on a Tuesday morning. She did it with one sentence. She was standing near the coffee station right outside the glass wall of Leo DeLuca's office. Her tablet was under her arm, her hair was in a loose, low ponytail that kept slipping off her shoulder, and her nerves were already fried because Leo had texted her at 6 a.m. about a meeting at 9 sharp. She was trying not to stare at Logan Davis. Trying, failing. Leo's capo stood there in a dark dress shirt, sleeves rolled to his elbows, tattoos disappearing under the fabric. His black hair was tied back at the nape of his neck, a few strands falling loose over his forehead. He held his mug in one hand, scrolling through something on his phone with the other, calm like he didn't have a single worry in the world. Lisa's best work friend, Emma Parker, leaned closer and whispered, "You're staring again." "I'm not," Lisa whispered back. "Absolutely staring." "You are." "He's so hot," Lisa breathed, voice coming out louder than she meant. Emma's eyes went wide. Her hand flew to her mouth. So did Lisa's, because the room went quiet, too quiet. Logan stopped scrolling. He turned his head. His eyes, green, amused, sharp, met hers. "I'm sorry," Lisa said, feeling her face burn. That was supposed to stay inside my head." Logan laughed, low and easy. "That's a new one. Usually people just call me annoying." Emma choked back a giggle. The glass door to Leo's office opened. Every muscle in Lisa's body went stiff. Leo DeLuca stepped out, one hand in his pocket, the other holding a cup of espresso he liked to drink in a real cup, not a paper one because he was not a teenager, as he had once said without any humor. He was dressed in a dark suit, perfectly tailored over his broad shoulders, white shirt open at the collar, no tie. His hair was dark and neat, not as wild as Logan's, but not exactly soft either. His stubble framed his jaw, sharp and serious. His eyes were the part that scared most people. Deep brown, cold when he wanted them to be. Right now they were not cold. They burned. He had heard. Lisa felt it without needing confirmation. Her lungs forgot how to work for a second. Leo didn't look at her right away. He looked at Logan. "Are we complimenting my staff again this early?" Leo asked, voice even. Logan smirked. "Good morning to you too, boss." Leo's gaze shifted to Lisa. It was slow, heavy. He stopped right on her flushed face. "Is everything fine, Ms. Lewis?" he asked. Lisa swallowed. "Yes, Mr. DeLuca." "Good," he said. "Because I need you inside. We have a contract to review." He turned his back and walked into his office, not waiting to see if she would follow. Emma squeezed her arm, whispering, "I'm so sorry," and then darted away like she wanted no part in this. Logan watched Lisa with an amused look. "For what it's worth," he said softly, "you have good taste." She stared at him, mortified. "Please stop talking." He chuckled. "See you inside, sweetheart," he added. then walked toward the conference room down the hall. Sweetheart. Lisa felt her heart slam against her ribs. She took a slow breath, straightened her blouse, picked up her tablet, and walked into Leo's office. The door clicked shut behind her. Inside, the atmosphere was different. The city spread out behind Leo's chair in tall windows, the skyline sharp and bright. The desk was clear except for a laptop, a couple of files, and his cup. Leo didn't sit. He stood near the window, his back turned to her. "Sit," he said. Lisa swallowed and sat in the chair across from his desk. A few seconds passed. Finally, Leo turned around. He walked to his side of the desk, placed the cup down, and met her eyes. "Tell me something, Ms. Lewis," he said. "Do you always discuss my capo's appearance in the middle of my office?" Her stomach dropped. "I'm sorry," she blurted. "It was a stupid comment. It just came out. I didn't mean—" "I am sure it just came out," he said. His voice didn't rise. That almost made it worse. "You are aware this is a professional environment?" "Yes, of course. And you work for me." "I know. And Logan works for me." She nodded quickly. "I know that too. So next time you decide to praise your co-worker's looks, remember who signs your paycheck," he said, eyes locked on hers. "And remember that I do not like distractions, especially when they are mine." The last word hit her in a strange way. "Understood," Lisa said quietly. He watched her for a beat longer, like he was trying to decide if she really did understand. Then he slid a folder toward her. "We have a meeting with the Harper Group at 9, he said. "I want you to go through this contract and mark anything that looks off. You have 20 minutes. She grabbed the folder like it was a life raft. "Yes, sir." As she opened it, he added, "And Ms. Lewis?" She looked up. "In this office," he said, "no one is hot. They are either useful or not. Make sure you stay in the first category." A tiny sting of hurt cut through her chest, even though she knew he meant it in his cold boss way. "Yes, Mr. DeLuca," she said. He turned back to his laptop, signaling the conversation was over, but it wasn't. Not really. Because his jaw was tight, because his fingers flexed slightly on the mouse, because he had heard the sentence, and it had bothered him far more than it should. 20 minutes later, Leo walked out of his office with Lisa at his side, tablet in hand, both heading toward the conference room. Logan leaned against the wall near the door, still holding his coffee cup. "Boss?" Logan said. "Ready to smile for rich people who think they're in charge?" Leo gave him a brief, sharp look. "I don't smile." "Right. Scare them then." Logan's eyes flicked to Lisa. "You okay there?" "I'm fine," she said too fast. Leo felt something twist in his chest. "We're starting," he cut in. "Let's go." Inside the conference room, they took their usual positions. Leo at the head of the table, Logan at his right, Lisa to his left, ready with her notes. The Harper Group representatives entered. Hands were shaken, greetings exchanged, coffee offered. Lisa tried to focus on her screen, but every time Logan leaned in to speak quietly to Leo, she picked up the clean scent of his cologne and remembered what she had said out loud. Her face warmed. "Ms. Lewis," Leo said suddenly, without looking at her. "Highlight the clause on page 4, section B." She did. "Done." "Forward it to Logan." She forwarded it. Logan's phone buzzed a second later. "Got it," Logan said, reading. "Yeah, that part is trash. They're trying to slip in an automatic renewal with changed terms." Leo's lips twitched. "Of course they are." The meeting went on. Numbers, dates, conditions, all very serious. But under the table, Leo's foot tapped once, then again a small, restless movement Lisa wasn't used to seeing. He was always still, always controlled. At one point, the Harper Group CEO made a joke about Logan being the charming one, and Leo, the serious one. Logan laughed. "Everyone has a role, right?" Leo didn't laugh. Lisa did, but it came out awkward and short. After the meeting, as everyone walked out, the CEO clapped Logan on the shoulder. "Your right-hand man is impressive, Mr. DeLuca. You're lucky." Leo gave a polite nod. "I choose my people carefully." His eyes slid to Lisa for half a second when he said it. Her heart stumbled. By lunchtime, the office had gone back to its normal rhythm, but nothing felt normal to Leo. He closed the door of his office and stood again by the window, looking at the city he controlled, thinking about something he could not control at all. Lisa, with her quick hands on the keyboard and her nervous laugh. Lisa, who always smelled like vanilla and coffee. Lisa, who had just admitted in front of him that she found Logan so hot. He hated how much that bothered him. There had always been rules in his life. Rules kept him alive. Rules kept his people safe. One of those rules was simple. He did not get involved with his staff, especially not his own secretary, the one who saw everything, the one who knew his schedule, his habits, his weaknesses, the one who brought him coffee when he forgot to eat and reminded him of stupid things like sunscreen when he had to spend a day outside. He didn't do messy. Feelings were messy. He took a deep breath, adjusted his cuffs, and sat down at his desk. He would fix this. He didn't know how yet, but he would. A soft knock sounded at the door. "Come in," he said. Lisa stepped inside with a stack of papers. "The Harper Group sent the updated version. I printed the main points." "Good," he said. "Leave them here." She walked closer and put the papers on the desk. For a moment they were too close. He could see the faint freckles on her nose, the little line between her brows when she concentrated. "Anything else?" he asked, trying to sound bored. She hesitated. "About this morning," she started. "We already talked about that," he cut in. "I know, but I just wanted to say that I respect this office, and you, a lot. I didn't mean to be unprofessional." Leo looked at her, really looked at her. Her voice was steady, her hands were not. He didn't want her scared of him. He wanted something else, something he had no right to name. "You have been useful so far," he said. "Efficient, organized. You stay late when needed. You don't complain. That is rare." He paused. "I do not want to replace you, Ms. Lewis." Her shoulders relaxed the smallest bit. I'm glad to hear that." "Good," he replied. "Just remember that I expect focus." She nodded. "You have it." He doubted that. Not when she was looking at Logan the way she did. The thought made something ugly flare in his chest. As she turned to leave, he called her name. "Lisa." She froze. He almost never used her first name. She turned back slowly. "Yes?" He held her gaze. "From now on, when I am in the office, I want you at your desk, not the coffee station. If you need a break, take it when I'm out or when the day is over. Understood?" She blinked. "I was only there for a minute." "I noticed," he said. "I notice everything. That is why this building still stands. Don't forget that." Her cheeks colored again, but there was a flash in her eyes now. Not fear, something closer to annoyance. "Yes, Mr. DeLuca," she said. "Understood." She walked out, closing the door a little harder than usual. He smirked to himself despite the tension in his chest. At least she still had fire. He didn't want her to lose that. He also didn't want her staring at Logan ever again. At her desk, Lisa typed faster than necessary, fingers flying over the keys. She replayed the morning again and again. "He's so hot. Make sure you stay useful. I do not want to replace you." Her stomach twisted. Did he really think of her like a piece of furniture? "Rough day?" Logan's voice came from the side. She jumped slightly. "Do you walk like a human or just appear out of nowhere?" He laughed. Door was open. "I brought you this." He set a paper cup on her desk. "You forgot your coffee after the meeting." She stared at the cup, then at him. "You remembered how I take it?" "2 creams, 1 sugar," he said. "I'm not a monster." A small smile kicked at her lips, even though she tried to stay serious. "Thank you." He leaned his hip against the edge of her desk. "You know he's not as scary as he looks, right?" Logan asked casually. "Are we talking about the same man who just banned me from the coffee station?" She muttered. Logan grinned. "Yeah, that one. He's scary to people who don't know him." "And you know him?" "Better than most," Logan said. He hired me when I had nothing but bad decisions and a bike that barely started. Trust me, there is a brain and a heart in there, somewhere deep. She rolled her eyes. Do you get a bonus every time you defend him? Sometimes I get to live another day. That's my bonus. She snorted. They both laughed. Inside the office, Leo watched through the glass. Logan leaning close, Lisa smiling, her shoulders relaxed, her eyes soft. The sight hit him in a place he didn't like to acknowledge. His chest felt tight. His fingers curled around his pen. He should be happy his two main people were getting along. A united team was a strong team. Instead, he felt that same burn from the morning. She thinks he's hot, Leo thought, jaw clenching. He stared at them for another second, then turned to his laptop and opened a new document. If distractions were his enemy, he would change the rules. He started typing an internal memo. New structure, new responsibilities, new lines that would pull her closer to him and away from anyone else. If Lisa Lewis thought she could spend her time admiring his capo, she was about to learn exactly how wrong she was. And as he typed the first words, one question slid quietly into his mind, one he refused to say out loud. Why did it matter this much? By the end of the day, Leo called both of them into his office. Lisa sat, tense. Logan dropped into the chair like he was in his own living room. Leo folded his hands on the desk. Starting tomorrow, he said, we are changing a few things. Lisa's heartbeat sped up. Logan raised a brow. Ms. Lewis, Leo continued, you will no longer handle general office calls and outside scheduling. Emma will take over that. Lisa frowned. Then what will I do? You will work directly with me, he said. Only with me. All my meetings, all my files, all my calls. You will be in charge of everything related to my day. No exceptions. Her breath caught. Logan looked between them, suddenly more interested. So she's basically your shadow now. Leo didn't look away from Lisa. You can call it that. Lisa felt heat rise to her cheeks again, but this time it was not from embarrassment. It was something else. All right, she said slowly. If that's what you need. It is, he said. I need someone I can trust, and someone who is not easily distracted. The jab landed. She pressed her lips together. I'm not easily distracted, she said, lifting her chin. Not when something matters. Leo held her gaze, and for a moment the air between them felt charged in a way that made Logan shift in his chair like he had accidentally walked into a private moment. Good, Leo said softly. We'll see. He leaned back. Logan, you'll coordinate with her for anything that needs my immediate attention, but if it doesn't go through her, it doesn't reach me. Understood? Logan let out a low whistle. Wow, she really is your shadow now. He gave Lisa a crooked smile. Congratulations, sweetheart. You've just been promoted to the hardest job in this building. Lisa's stomach fluttered. Any questions? Leo asked. Lisa hesitated. Just one. Leo raised a brow. What changed? She asked carefully. You've never needed this level of control before. He thought about the real answer. Because I can't stand the idea of you looking at anyone else. Because when you said he was hot, something in me wanted to fire my own capo. Out loud, he said, the business is growing. I don't like chaos. You help me avoid it. That was true. It just wasn't the full truth. She studied him for a second, like she was trying to read something in his eyes. Okay, she said finally. Then I'll do my job and keep things under control. Logan stood up. This should be fun, he said, heading to the door. Try not to kill each other. Get out, Leo replied without heat. Logan left, closing the door behind him. For a moment, Leo and Lisa were alone again. You start tomorrow, he said. She nodded. I'll be ready. He watched her as she walked out, his gaze dropping to the small swing of her ponytail, the line of her back, the careful way she closed the door softly this time. Tomorrow she would be at his side all day. No coffee station gossip, no long looks at Logan. The problem was simple. He wanted her close so she would forget about his capo. He had no idea how he was supposed to survive that himself. And somewhere between the clean lines of his desk and the lights of the city, a new question hung in the air, quiet and dangerous. What would happen the day Lisa Lewis realized that the man most jealous of Logan Davis was her own boss? Tomorrow's new rules are set. But will they actually keep Lisa focused on work, or make it impossible for her and Leo to ignore what is growing between them? Lisa arrived 20 minutes earlier than usual the next morning, clutching her travel mug like it was a shield. She had barely slept. Most of the night had been spent replaying Leo's words. "You will work directly with me, only with me. I need someone I can trust, and someone who is not easily distracted." She wasn't sure if it was a promotion, a punishment, or something far more confusing. The office was still half dark when she stepped out of the elevator. Only the cleaning crew was leaving, and the city outside stretched in soft morning blue. Lisa walked to her desk, turned on her computer, and tried to steady her breathing. A moment later, she sensed movement behind her. She didn't need to turn to know who it was. Only one man in the building walked with that slow, controlled confidence. "Good morning, Ms. Lewis." Her pulse jumped. She turned around. Leo stood there in a navy suit today, jacket open, shirt crisp, hair slightly tousled like the wind had played with it before he entered the building. He held his phone in one hand, a leather folder in the other. His eyes dragged over her face, down her blouse, her hands gripping her mug. It wasn't inappropriate, but it was detailed. Like he was checking if she had slept, if she was nervous, if she was ready to follow his new rules. "Good morning, Mr. DeLuca," she replied carefully. He lifted the folder. "Come inside." She followed him into his office. The skyline glowed softly behind him as he walked to his desk. He placed the folder down and gestured for her to sit in the same chair she had used yesterday. But before she sat, Leo stepped closer. Too close. He reached out, took her mug out of her hands, looked at it, then at her. "You already had coffee?" She blinked. "Yes. Why?" "From now on," he said quietly, "I want you to take a break at 10. I don't want you jittery during morning briefings." She stared at him. "You're controlling my caffeine now?" He didn't flinch. "I'm controlling my office." She opened her mouth, but he continued. "And you are in my office," he added, his eyes lowering to her lips for a fraction of a second. "So yes, I control your schedule." Her knees nearly gave out. She sat quickly. Leo moved behind his desk and opened the folder. "Today, you'll shadow me for every task until noon. After lunch, you'll organize my meeting notes and call the Harper group for revisions." Lisa nodded, even though her heart was racing for reasons that had nothing to do with paperwork. "And one more thing," Leo said, leaning back slightly. She met his eyes. "Yes? No talking to Logan unless I initiate it." Her jaw dropped. "What? Why? We work in the same building." "You work with me," he corrected. "And Logan can be distracting." She stared. "Yesterday you said I'm not easily distracted. You proved me wrong." Her cheeks flamed. "I didn't prove anything." "You said he was hot." She gripped the edge of her chair. "I thought you were done bringing that up." "I'm not," he said calmly. "Sit straighter." She did, instantly. He noticed. Oh, he definitely noticed. The corner of his mouth tugged upward for less than a heartbeat, but she caught it, and it made her chest feel warm in a very inconvenient way. Before she could answer, there was a knock. Logan. Of course. He stepped into the office without waiting, coffee mug in hand, tie undone, sleeves rolled up. "Boss!" "Oh." His eyes flicked between them. "New arrangement. Right. Forgot." Lisa looked away fast. Logan smirked. "Morning, sweetheart." Leo's head snapped up so sharply, Lisa actually gasped. Logan continued casually. "Boss, Peterson called. Wants to move the meeting to noon." Leo didn't blink. "Fine. And," Logan added, "I need your sign-off on the security rotation today." "Leave it on the table," Leo said. Logan did. Then he looked at Lisa again, this time gentler. "You doing okay?" Lisa nodded quickly. "Fine. Busy." Leo's jaw tightened. "Good. Logan said, amused. If you need anything, yell. I'll be around. When he left, Leo exhaled like he had been holding his breath. Lisa folded her arms. See? That's normal workplace conversation. No, Leo said. That is Logan seeing how far he can push me before I break his legs. Her mouth fell open. You're exaggerating. I never exaggerate. You think he's flirting with me? Leo didn't answer. He didn't need to. She leaned forward, lowering her voice. Are you jealous? His eyes snapped to hers. Dark, intense, heated. Too heated. She froze. Leo took a slow breath, regaining control. We're done talking about this. Which meant yes. He was jealous. The morning moved fast. Lisa followed Leo as he reviewed financial updates, signed documents, dictated responses, approved schedules. She walked beside him through the office like a second shadow, exactly as Logan had teased. But there was something different. Every time Leo passed her a file, his fingers brushed hers, light, quick, but purposeful. Every time she stood too far away, he gestured her closer. Every time someone addressed her instead of him, he corrected it with subtle authority. It wasn't just control, it was attention, and she felt every second of it. At one point, when she leaned over his desk to show him a correction, her hip grazed the edge of his chair. The soft contact made him freeze for half a second. His breath hitched, quiet, almost silent, but she heard it. She straightened fast. Is something wrong? She asked. He didn't look away from her. Not yet. Her stomach flipped. By 10, she had survived the first half of her new duties. The break he forced her to take arrived, and she walked toward the kitchen area for water, not coffee. She didn't even reach it. Someone stepped beside her. Hey, Logan said gently. She stiffened. Hi. You okay? He asked. You look tense. She swallowed. Just adjusting. He nodded. He's intense, but he doesn't mean harm. She glanced at him. You make him sound human. Logan laughed softly. He is. He just hides it better than most. Is he really that protective? Oh yeah, Logan said. Especially with people he cut himself off suddenly, eyes shifting over her shoulder. Lisa turned. Leo. He stood by his office door, watching them. Watching her. Watching Logan. His expression didn't shift, but the air did. Logan cleared his throat. Break time over, sweetheart. Boss looks like he's about to combust. Lisa shot him a look, then walked back toward the office, heart pounding. She slipped inside. Leo followed and closed the door behind them, and locked it. Her pulse jumped. Why did you lock? You didn't listen. His voice wasn't loud, but it was firm. You said no talking to him unless you initiated it, she reminded him. I didn't talk to him. He walked up to me. You answered. What was I supposed to do? Ignore him completely? Yes? She stared at him. That's unreasonable. He stepped closer. Close enough she could smell the faint scent of cedar and clean soap on his skin. Unreasonable, he repeated slowly. Is you smiling at my capo like that? Her throat tightened. I wasn't smiling at him. You were, he said, and you know it. His eyes held hers, dark and unreadable, but full of something dangerous and warm at the same time. Why does it matter? She whispered. He didn't answer right away. His jaw flexed, his hands curled at his sides. His gaze moved from her eyes to her mouth, then back up again. It matters, he said quietly, because you work for me, and I don't like sharing what's mine. Her breath caught. I'm not yours. He leaned in, his face inches from hers. Not yet. Her knees nearly buckled. She stepped back, needing air, needing distance, needing something to keep her sanity. Leo watched her, eyes narrowed like he was trying to solve a problem. Her. Finally, he exhaled. Get your tablet. We're going to the 13th floor. She blinked. Why? To review contractor proposals. He reached for the door, unlocked it, then stopped and glanced at her over his shoulder. And Miss Lewis? Yes, she breathed. You don't smile at him again. Her pulse hammered. And if I do? His voice dropped to a low warning that made heat crawl up her spine. Don't. Then he walked out. They spent the next hour reviewing proposals in a silent private meeting room. Lisa tried to focus, but her mind kept replaying his voice. I don't like sharing what's mine. Not yet. She didn't know what to do with that. She didn't know if she should run or hope. When they finally returned to his office, Logan was waiting inside like a man asking for death. He held 2 coffees. Brought one for you, he told Lisa, smiling innocently. Her stomach dropped. Leo stepped around her slowly, like a wolf circling prey. She doesn't need coffee, Leo said. Logan raised an eyebrow. You policing caffeine now? Yes. Why? Because she's mine, Leo said before he could stop himself. Silence exploded in the room. Lisa's breath vanished. Logan's eyebrows shot up. Then he let out a low whistle. Oh. Wow. Okay. So that's where we are. Leo froze, realizing what he had said. His jaw locked. He stepped behind his desk, trying to recover. Get out, Logan. Logan smirked. Sure thing, boss. He looked at Lisa. Good luck surviving him. When he left, Leo dragged a hand down his face. Lisa stood there, heart pounding in her throat. You didn't mean to say that. No, he admitted, but I'm not taking it back. Her breath shook. Sit, he said, voice quieter now. We're not done. She sat. He met her eyes, and something in his expression shifted. Still intense, still controlled, but warmer, almost vulnerable. I don't want him near you, Leo said. I don't want anyone near you. I need you focused. I need you here. Her chest tightened. Why, Leo? He opened his mouth, then stopped as his phone buzzed violently. He checked the screen. His face hardened instantly. We'll continue this later, he said. But the way he said it wasn't a threat. It was a promise. She watched him grab his jacket and leave the office in long, decisive strides. And Lisa sat there, pulse racing, hands trembling, asking herself the one question he refused to answer. If she wasn't his yet, then what was he planning to do about it? Leo finally slipped. But what will he do now that he can't take it back? Leo didn't return for the rest of the afternoon. Lisa tried to work, but nothing stayed still in her head. Not the invoices, not the calls, not the calendar, nothing. Every time she tried to focus, her mind replayed the moment he said it. Because she's mine. The words were still vibrating inside her hours later. By the time the office lights dimmed, she was standing by her desk staring at the elevator, hoping, against logic, that he'd appear again, open the glass door of his office, and call her name in that deep voice that always hit her right in the center of her chest. He didn't. She finally grabbed her bag and walked toward the elevator. Right as the doors opened, a hand pushed them back. Leo. He stepped in, still in his suit, tie loose, hair slightly messy like he'd been running his hand through it. His eyes met hers instantly, and something sharp and electric filled the small space between them. You're leaving, he said. It wasn't a question. Yes, Lisa breathed. Why? She blinked. Because it's 6:30. He didn't move. You usually stay later. I finished everything. I didn't say you could go. Her heart tripped. You don't own my evenings. His jaw ticked. I'm aware. The doors began to close. He raised his hand, stopping them. You're coming with me. Her eyes widened. What? Where? To a dinner. What kind of dinner? He stepped inside the elevator fully now, forcing her to step back from his closeness. Business, he said. But they'll assume we're together. Her breath hitched. Together? How? He didn't blink. You'll be my girlfriend tonight. The air left her lungs in a rush. I don't think. It's not optional, he said. Not cold, not angry, just certain. I need someone I trust beside me, and you're the only person who can keep me grounded around men who waste my time. Lisa felt heat crawl up her neck. And you chose me? His eyes dropped to her lips for half a second. Unintentional, but impossible to ignore. "Yes," he said quietly. "I chose you." The elevator doors closed. They reached the parking garage in an unsteady silence. Leo's car, a black Escalade, waited near the entrance, glossy under the dim lights. When the driver opened the back door, Leo stopped him with a wave. "She sits with me," he said. Lisa's pulse raced. She slid into the back seat and Leo followed, the car smelling faintly of leather and his cologne. As the door closed, he reached across her before she could breathe. "What are you—" He pulled the seatbelt across her chest and clicked it into place himself. Her body froze. He didn't move away immediately. His hand stayed near her hip for a second longer than necessary, his breath brushing her cheek. Then he leaned back. "Safety first," he said, his voice too low, too warm. She was absolutely not safe. The driver started the car. "Where is this dinner?" Lisa asked, trying to calm her heart. "The Lennox Club," Leo said. "One of the owners is trying to negotiate a partnership. He wants something from me, and I'm not interested. But appearances matter. So, why bring me?" Leo adjusted his cuff. "Because when a man brings a woman he values, people behave. They assume he has something to lose. Which means they negotiate slower." Her breath caught. "A woman you value?" His jaw flexed. "Don't start." But she had heard it. Every word. They drove through the city, lights flashing across the windows. Lisa kept her hands clasped tightly in her lap, trying not to fidget. She hadn't had time to change. She still wore her fitted blouse and pencil skirt, simple, clean, office-appropriate. She suddenly felt underdressed. "What?" Leo asked, noticing her frown. "I look plain," she whispered. Leo turned fully toward her. "Look at me," he ordered. She did. His gaze scanned her slowly, deliberately, her eyes, her hair, her collarbone, the curve of her waist, the hem of her skirt, then back up again. When he spoke, his voice was low and firm. "You look beautiful." Her breath trembled. "You're just saying that." "No," he said. "I don't waste words, and I don't pretend." She pressed her knees together, trying to anchor herself. "Don't let anyone tonight make you feel small," he added. "They're not worth the air they breathe compared to you." She swallowed, hard. The Lennox Club was luxury wrapped in golden light, tall windows, marble floors, staff in crisp uniforms. Leo stepped out first, then offered his hand to her as she exited the car. It wasn't necessary. He did it anyway. And when her hand touched his, he closed his fingers around hers, steady and sure. He didn't let go. Inside, people turned. They always did around him. Leo's presence filled a room without effort. Broad shoulders, calm confidence, dark eyes that saw everything. Tonight, though, something was different. Tonight, he walked with Lisa at his side. Every time someone approached, he pulled her slightly closer, placing his hand at her lower back. Not possessive, protective. She wasn't sure which one made her knees weaker. They were escorted upstairs to a private dining room. A long table, low lighting, expensive wine already pouring. Mr. Lennox, tall, loud, overly polished, stood to greet them. "Leo, glad you're here." Then he turned to Lisa with a practiced smile. "And you must be the lucky woman who finally got his attention." Lisa almost choked. Leo slid his arm around her waist and answered for her. "She's more than that." Everyone sat. Lisa was placed beside Leo, their chairs close, almost touching. As the appetizers arrived, Lennox launched straight into tedious business talk. Lisa tried to follow, but her focus kept drifting to the warmth of Leo's hand resting lightly on her knee under the table. She didn't know if he realized he was doing it, but he didn't move it. At one point, Lennox attempted a joke about wives being distractions. Leo's hand tightened slightly on her knee. "She's not a distraction," Leo said. "She's the reason I don't walk out of meetings like this." Lennox laughed awkwardly, not understanding the warning underneath. Lisa did, and her heart flipped. As dessert was served, the door opened, and Leo's face changed. Logan walked in, of all places, of all nights. "Boss," he said casually, ignoring the room's tension. "We need to talk." Leo stood slowly. "This couldn't wait." "No," Logan said. "It couldn't." Lisa's stomach nodded. Leo leaned close to her ear. "Don't move." She nodded. The two men walked onto the balcony, the glass door closing behind them. Lisa watched through the window. Logan was speaking quickly, his hands moving. Leo listened, jaw tight, eyes narrowing. Then, Logan looked toward her. Leo turned sharply, following his gaze. Their eyes met across the glass. Leo's expression softened instantly, barely, but she saw it. Then something else happened. Unexpected, sharp. Lennox leaned toward her. "So, Ms. Lewis," she supplied politely. "Lewis," he repeated, smiling. Too wide, too interested. "You know, successful men like Leo always end up with strong, beautiful women. But you're younger than I expected." Lisa stiffened. Before she could answer, Lennox continued, leaning closer. "And tell me, are you with him for the lifestyle or the thrill?" Her cheeks burned. "That's inappropriate." The balcony door opened. Leo stepped back inside. One look at Lisa's face and his expression changed. He moved toward her with calm steps that felt more dangerous than shouting. He rested a hand on her shoulder. "We're leaving," he said. Lennox blinked. "What? But we're just—" "You insulted her," Leo said quietly. "The deal is off." Lennox stood, flustered. "Come on, Leo, she can't be that sensitive." Leo's hand curled around the back of Lisa's chair. "Choose your next words carefully." Even Lennox understood that tone. He shut his mouth. Leo helped Lisa stand, keeping his hand at her back as they walked out. In the hallway, his touch didn't lighten. Only when the elevator doors closed again did he turn to her. "What did he say?" She shook her head. "It's fine, really." "Lisa." Her chest tightened at the way he said her name. "He asked if I was with you for the thrill." Leo's jaw clenched so hard she thought he might crack a tooth. "He's lucky I didn't break his face. You didn't have to defend me like that." "Yes," Leo said. "I did." The elevator opened, and before she could step out, he caught her wrist. "Come with me." She followed him into a quiet balcony overlooking the city. Private, dim, the skyline stretching in warm lights. The second the door closed, the atmosphere shifted. She could feel him behind her, hear his breath, feel the heat of him. "Lisa," he said softly. She turned. He stepped closer. Close enough she could feel the warmth of his chest, even though he wasn't touching her. "Tonight." His voice was low, rougher than she'd ever heard. "I didn't plan this." "Plan what?" "This," he said. "Whatever this is between us." Her heart pounded. "Leo." He cupped her jaw with one hand, slowly, like giving her time to pull away. She didn't. His thumb brushed her cheek, gentle, careful, reverent. Their faces moved closer, inches, breath touching breath. She tilted her chin up slightly. His phone vibrated loudly. He froze, closed his eyes, let out a breath that shook with frustration. He pulled back slowly, jaw tight. "I have to take this." She nodded, throat tight. He stepped away, answering the call. Lisa turned toward the city, trying to breathe. But her heart wasn't calming. Not even close. 10 minutes later, the driver took them back to the office so they could retrieve their things. The air was thick, charged, unfinished. She turned to Leo at her desk. "About tonight." "We'll talk tomorrow," he interrupted, voice low, eyes unreadable. "I'm not finished." She swallowed. "Okay." He walked away, stopping at the glass door. "Lisa." She lifted her eyes. He stared at her for a long, tense moment. "If I had kissed you," he said softly, "I wouldn't have stopped." Her legs wobbled. He left. And Lisa sat in the silent office, heart in her throat, realizing the truth she had tried not to name. She wasn't pretending anymore. She wasn't playing a role. She wanted him. All of him. But did he want her enough to break his own rules? End of chapter 3. Leo almost crossed the line, but tomorrow will push both of them even further. Lisa barely slept. Every time she closed her eyes, the moment on the balcony replayed. The warmth of Leo's hand on her jaw, the way he leaned in, the breath they shared, the confession he almost gave her before duty dragged him away. If I had kissed you, I wouldn't have stopped. Those words didn't leave her. Not even for a second, but morning brought reality back like cold water. She wasn't Leo's girlfriend. She wasn't even supposed to be close to him. She was his assistant, his employee. The woman who, just 2 days ago, accidentally called his capo hot and triggered a storm she couldn't control. So when the elevator doors opened at the office, she forced her shoulders back and repeated the plan she had built in her head all night. Be professional. Be distant. Don't feed the confusion. She arrived at her desk, turned on her computer, and opened the calendar before she even removed her coat. Her heart still beat too fast. She didn't look toward Leo's office. She wouldn't. She couldn't. At least that was the plan, until the glass door opened exactly 2 minutes later. Leo stepped out. Dark suit, no tie. Hair pushed back carelessly. He looked like a man who didn't sleep much, but who never let exhaustion win. His eyes immediately locked onto her. Inside, he said. Her breath caught. She hesitated. Then she stood, smoothing her blouse, and walked into his office. He closed the door behind her, not harsh but firm. He didn't sit. Neither did she. For a long moment, they just stared at each other, the air thick with the memory of what almost happened the night before. You left quickly yesterday, he finally said. You told me we'd talk today, she replied carefully. So I waited. He studied her, eyes narrowing slightly. And now you're avoiding looking at me. Her face heated. No, I'm not. You are. I'm being professional. You're being distant. She took a slow breath. Leo, yesterday was intense. I think we need space to think. His expression darkened, not anger. Something harder to define. Something frustrated. Something that looked a lot like hurt. Space, he repeated. Yes. And you decided that on your own? She blinked. Do I need permission to have space? Yes, he said. Her mouth fell open. He stepped closer, 1 step, 2. She felt her pulse leap in response. Last night, Leo said, voice lower, you let me touch you. She swallowed. You leaned into me, he continued. Her hands trembled slightly. You wanted me to kiss you. Her breathing hitched. Leo, and now you're pretending none of it happened. I'm not pretending, she whispered. I'm trying to be realistic. He stared at her, jaw tight. What exactly is the realistic part? He asked. The part where you're afraid? Or the part where you don't trust me? That stung. Too much. I didn't say I don't trust you. You didn't need to. She stepped back, hurt flaring in her chest. I'm not pulling away because I don't trust you. I'm pulling away because I don't know what you want from me. He opened his mouth, but someone knocked loudly. Leo closed his eyes, frustrated. Come in. The door opened, and walked in the exact wrong person. A tall woman with glossy dark hair, a fitted red dress, and a confidence that filled the room. She looked like she walked out of a magazine. Leo, she said warmly, you didn't return my call yesterday. Lisa felt her stomach twist. Leo straightened but didn't move toward the woman. Victoria, what are you doing here? I was in the area, she said, her eyes flicking to Lisa with polite curiosity and something sharper underneath. Thought I'd stop by. We still need to reschedule our dinner. Lisa looked down quickly. Leo's voice hardened. There is no dinner. Victoria laughed softly. Don't be dramatic. Your assistant won't bite. Lisa felt her cheeks burn. Leo stepped closer, not to Victoria, to Lisa. He didn't touch her. He didn't need to. The message was clear. There is no dinner, he repeated, gaze locked on Lisa now. Not yesterday. Not today. Not ever. Victoria's smile faltered. Oh, Leo didn't soften it. Lisa, Go check on the Callahan files, he said gently, too gently. We'll continue this conversation. Lisa nodded, grateful for an escape, even though her chest felt tight. She stepped out, closing the door quickly. Outside, Emma walked by and whispered, "Who is that? She looks like a Bond villain." Lisa forced a laugh. "I have no idea." "Are you okay?" Emma asked. Lisa nodded, even though she knew she wasn't. She headed toward the file room, inhaling deeply, trying to calm her racing thoughts. But the moment she closed the door behind her, her emotions finally hit her in full force. Seeing another woman walk into his office like she belonged there, seeing Leo go rigid, hearing him say there was no dinner with her, it all collided into a confusing knot of jealousy, insecurity, and something far too strong to ignore. She pressed her hands to her face. "This is why I need distance," she told herself. "This is why." But her chest still ached. An hour later, Logan found her sitting at a small table in the break room with a stack of files. He leaned against the counter, arms crossed. "You look like someone stole your lunch money." "Thanks," she muttered. "That's exactly the vibe I was going for." He smirked. "Rough morning?" She didn't answer. He walked over and sat across from her. "Want to tell me what's going on?" "No." "Want to pretend you're totally fine while your eyeballs scream otherwise?" Lisa sighed. "Please don't read me like that." "Someone has to," he said. "He won't." She looked up sharply. "What does that mean?" Logan raised an eyebrow. "Leo DeLuca, the man could be in love and still act like he's choosing between two accounting systems." Her stomach flipped. "He's not." "Relax," Logan laughed. "I'm not saying he is. I'm saying he's terrible at showing anything that isn't control." He tapped the table. "If he's pushing, it's because he doesn't know how to handle what he feels." She blinked. "What he feels?" "Oh, come on. You think he acts like this with anyone else?" She bit her lip. "I don't know what he wants." Logan's expression softened. "Then ask him." "I tried," she said quietly. And then a beautiful woman walked into his office and asked about dinner. Logan snorted. "Victoria? She's the daughter of some investor. They tried to push an arranged thing once. Leo said no, loudly." Lisa blinked. "He did?" "Oh yeah. He'd rather swallow nails than marry for convenience." That eased something inside her chest. A little. "But look," Logan added, leaning forward, "don't let his past ruin your present. If you're scared, say you're scared. If you're jealous—" "I wasn't jealous." "Uh-huh," he said, sipping his coffee. "Tell that to your face." She picked up a napkin and threw it at him. He laughed. By the time she returned to her desk, Leo's office door was closed and Victoria was gone. Lisa sat down slowly, rehearsing what she might say when she had to face him again. "We need to set boundaries. We need clarity. We need to talk about what we are." But none of those sentences felt safe. At 2 o'clock, she went inside to hand him the updated files. He looked up immediately. "We're not finished," he said. Her heart fluttered. "I know. Are you still pulling away?" She hesitated. "I'm trying to understand things." "Which things?" "What you want," she whispered. He stood, walked around the desk, stopped directly in front of her, close enough that she had to tilt her chin up. "I want you focused," he said softly. "I want you safe. I want you near me." Her breath trembled. "And beyond that?" He paused, the longest, quietest pause. Then, "Lisa, if I tell you the truth now, will you stay, or will you run?" Her heart pounded so hard she felt it in her fingertips. "I don't run," she whispered. He reached up slowly, brushing a piece of hair behind her ear, soft, careful, devastating. "I don't want space," he murmured. "I want you." Her knees nearly gave out. But before she could answer, a loud buzz from his phone cut through the moment. He cursed under his breath. "Don't move," he said. He checked the screen. His expression hardened instantly. "I have to handle this." He grabbed his jacket. "We'll finish this tonight." She nodded, breathless. But he paused at the door, turned, and said one more sentence that sent heat straight through her. "Don't pull away again." Then he was gone. Lisa exhaled shakily and pressed her hands to her chest. She didn't know how the night would end. She only knew this. She couldn't keep pretending she didn't want him. Not anymore. But the question that burned the most: what would Leo do once they were finally alone again? Leo finally says what he wants. But tonight may become the turning point neither of them expected. Lisa spent the rest of the afternoon checking the clock every few minutes, palms sweating each time the hour changed. Tonight, he had said. 2 simple syllables that carried too much weight. Was he really going to tell her everything? Did she even know what everything meant? By 5:30, Leo still hadn't returned. His office was quiet, glass walls reflecting the warm tones of sunset. Lisa straightened papers, rechecked schedules, paced twice, then finally forced herself to sit before her nerves set the entire desk on fire. At 6, the elevator chimed. Her pulse jumped. Footsteps approached. Steady, confident, unmistakably him. The glass door opened. Leo entered, loosening his tie with one hand, phone in the other, his expression sharp from whatever chaos had kept him away all day. But when he saw her, something in his face softened. "Come inside," he said quietly. She stood, heart racing, and followed him into his office. He closed the door behind them, not locking it this time, just shutting out the world. He removed his jacket and tossed it over the back of his chair, then leaned against the desk, arms crossed, watching her like he was trying to decide how much to reveal and how much she was ready to hear. "About earlier," he began. Her throat tightened. "You said you wanted me." He inhaled slowly. "I did." "And?" She pushed gently. "What does that mean, exactly?" He stared at her, stern, frustrated, vulnerable in a way that hit her harder than anything he had done so far. "It means you occupy my mind when you shouldn't," he said. "It means I look for you more than I should. It means I wanted to kiss you last night so badly I nearly forgot my own rules." Her breath trembled. He continued, voice lower. "And it means I don't want anyone else near you. Not Logan. Not Lennox. Not any man who thinks he can look at you for more than a second." The air thickened. She stepped closer without realizing it. "Why me, Leo?" He looked away, just for a moment, but enough for her to see that answering wasn't easy. "Because you make me lose control," he admitted. Her heart slammed. "Is that bad? For someone like me?" He let out a humorless breath. "It's terrifying." A silence stretched between them. Tense, warm, dangerous in the best way. Lisa took one careful step forward. "I'm not afraid of you losing control." His eyes snapped to hers, dark, intense, hungry. "And that," he said, "is why you should be." Before she could reply, his phone buzzed again, vibrating insistently on the desk. He closed his eyes for a second, jaw tightening. "If one more person interrupts today—" "Answer it," she whispered. "I'm not going anywhere." Those words froze him. He grabbed the phone, checking the screen, and frowned. "It's your brother." Lisa blinked. "My... what?" Leo motioned for her to sit, answering the call with his usual cold authority. "Samuel, speak." He paused. His expression shifted. "Where is he now?" Another pause. "I'll handle it." Leo hung up and looked at her. "What happened?" she asked, heart racing. "Your brother got into trouble again," he said. "He borrowed money from someone he shouldn't have." Her stomach dropped. "No, not again." Leo stepped closer and rested a steadying hand on her shoulder. "It's handled." Her eyes widened. "What do you mean handled?" "I paid it," he said simply. Her breath caught. "You what?" "It wasn't a large amount. And I'm not letting anything touch you. Not your family, not debts, not stress. Not ever." A sharp pressure built behind her eyes. "You didn't have to do that for me." He brushed a thumb gently along her jaw, his voice softening. "I know I didn't have to. I wanted to." She swallowed hard. "You're not supposed to fix my life for me." "Someone should," he said. "You spend all your time fixing everyone else's problems." Her chest tightened painfully. He had been paying attention. He had seen her, more than she realized. Suddenly, the door burst open. Logan strode in without knocking. "Boss, we've got a problem on the east." He froze, saw them inches apart, saw Leo's hand still on her face, and grinned. "Oh, sorry. Did I interrupt something?" Leo didn't move his hand. "Yes." Logan raised both brows. "Good. Then I won't stay long." "Make it 2 seconds," Leo warned. Logan dropped a file on the desk. "Everything's stable, but you should know. Victoria called again." Lisa stiffened. Leo's expression hardened. "I don't care." Logan smirked. "Told her that." She wasn't thrilled. Lisa looked away, trying to appear unaffected. Logan, perceptive as ever, caught it immediately. "Hey," he said gently to her, tone surprisingly soft. "He shut that door a long time ago. Don't let it eat you." "Logan," Leo growled. "What?" Logan shrugged. "She deserves to know you aren't juggling options." Lisa blinked. Leo stepped forward slightly. "Logan, I'm leaving," Logan said quickly, backing toward the door. "Just remember, communication." He pointed at Leo. "Not your strongest skill." He pointed at Lisa. "Yours is overthinking." He pointed between them. "You two need a manual." "Get out," Leo snapped. Logan disappeared, the door clicking shut behind him. Lisa tried not to laugh. Leo tried not to break his phone in half. "Sorry," she said softly. He looked at her. "Why are you apologizing?" "For this," she whispered, gesturing between them. "For everything being so complicated." "It's not complicated," he said. "You're the only one making it complicated." Her breath hitched. "Me? You keep thinking you need distance," he said. "But every time you walk away, I feel it." She froze. "Feel it." He had said feel it. "Leo," she whispered, stepping closer. "You scare me sometimes." His brows pulled together. "I would never hurt you." "I don't mean like that," she said quickly. "You scare me because I've never felt like this before. And you're... you." He tilted his head. "Meaning?" "You're intense, confusing, commanding. And when you want something, you take it." He lowered his voice. "Is that what you're afraid of? That I'll take you?" Her knees wobbled. "Because if I take you," he whispered, "I won't let you go." She inhaled sharply. Leo, I don't..." A knock cut her off. Emma peeked inside. "I'm sorry. I know you said not to interrupt, but, Leo, your driver said your meeting tonight moved up. You have to leave now." Lisa exhaled in shaky relief. Leo exhaled in pure annoyance. "Of course," he muttered. Then softer, to Lisa, "We're not done." She nodded. He grabbed his jacket, then paused at the door. He looked back at her, long, slow, like he was memorizing her. "Come to my penthouse later," he said quietly. Her heart stopped. "You're... what?" "We'll talk there," he said. "Not here. Not with interruptions." Her breath trembled. "Are you sure?" "Lisa," he murmured, eyes dark and warm and full of something unmistakable. "I've never been more sure of anything." He left. The door closed. And Lisa sat in her chair, staring at the skyline with her heart pounding so hard she could feel it in her fingertips. She was going to his home. He wanted privacy. He wanted truth. He wanted her. But what would he say when they were finally alone? What truth had he been hiding? And was she ready for it? Tonight, behind closed doors in Leo's penthouse, everything will change. Lisa stood outside Leo's luxurious Manhattan building for a full minute before she could make her legs move. The night was warm, the air soft with city lights, and yet her hands were cold from nerves. She wasn't going there as his assistant. She wasn't going there for work. This was something else entirely. The doorman greeted her by name, which sent a quick jolt through her stomach. Leo had clearly told them to expect her. She stepped into the private elevator and pressed the top floor. As the elevator ascended, her reflection stared back at her, hair fixed, blouse tucked neatly, makeup soft, eyes wide with anticipation. Was she really ready for this? She swallowed hard. When the doors opened, Leo was standing there. He wasn't in a suit, No jacket, no tie, just a fitted black shirt, sleeves rolled, top buttons undone, revealing just enough to make her forget how to breathe. He looked like every rule she had ever obeyed was about to fall apart. "You came?" he said, voice low. She nodded. "You told me to." He stepped closer. "And you listened." It wasn't a question. It was a confession disguised as praise. He moved aside for her to enter. His penthouse was open, elegant, warm light spilling across polished floors. Floor-to-ceiling windows showcased the Manhattan skyline, endless, glittering, alive. She walked slowly inside, feeling suddenly too aware of her own heartbeat. "Do you want something to drink?" he asked quietly. "No," she whispered. "Just talk to me." He exhaled, a soft, heavy breath. "Come here." She followed him to the living area, where the city lit the room from behind like a cinematic backdrop. Leo leaned against the back of the sofa, arms crossed, watching her with an intensity that wrapped around her entire body. "This morning," he said, "you asked what I want." Her lips parted. "Yes." He took one step forward, then another, until he was inches from her. "I want you," he repeated, voice almost a growl. "Not as my assistant. Not as someone who keeps my schedule clean. Not as someone who smiles politely during meetings." He paused. "I want you. All of you." Her breath hitched. She felt the heat of his words down her spine. "But," he continued, "I need to know you're not afraid of what that means." She swallowed. "I am afraid." His jaw clenched. "But I'm more afraid of pretending I don't feel anything," she added. That changed everything. Leo reached up slowly, brushing a loose strand of her hair behind her ear. His fingertips traced down her jaw, feather-light, almost reverent. "Do you know what it does to me?" he murmured. "When you walk away?" She barely breathed. "What does it do?" "It makes me lose control," he whispered. "It makes me want to pull you back, to keep you close, to claim you." Her knees weakened. "Leo." He leaned in, lips near her forehead, breath warm against her skin. "You have no idea how much I've fought this." "Then stop fighting," she whispered, surprising herself. His breath caught, and for a moment they both stood there suspended, teetering between restraint and surrender. Then, the elevator chimed. Leo stiffened instantly. Nobody should be coming up. Nobody except her. He turned sharply just as the doors opened. Victoria stepped out. Again. Wearing another flawless dress, carrying a folder, smiling like she had every right to be there. "Leo," she said brightly, "I know you said we weren't meeting tonight, but She froze. Her eyes went straight to Lisa, then to how close she stood to Leo, then to Leo's hand still resting lightly but possessively at Lisa's waist. The temperature in the room dropped. "Oh," Victoria said slowly. "I see." Lisa felt panic twist inside her chest. Leo stepped slightly in front of her, not enough to hide her, but enough to show exactly where his loyalty stood. "This is not a good time," Leo said firmly. Victoria lifted her chin. "I can tell." Her gaze returned to Lisa, sliding over her in a way that felt too direct, too cutting. "So she's the reason you suddenly refuse social obligations?" Lisa opened her mouth, but Leo's voice cut through the air like a clean blade. "Yes." Victoria blinked. Lisa blinked. Leo didn't look away from Victoria. "And I don't owe you anything else." Victoria laughed, but it was sharp. "You don't owe me anything, but you could have warned me before I walked into your little moment." Lisa's cheeks heated. Leo's face didn't move. "Leave." Victoria's gaze softened, not kindly, but knowingly. "You're in deeper than I thought." Leo didn't dignify that with a response. Victoria stepped backward into the elevator, eyes lingering on Lisa. "Good luck," she said quietly. "You'll need it." The doors closed. Silence. Thick, humming silence. Then Leo exhaled, harder than he expected, and turned to Lisa. "I didn't plan that," he said. "I know. But I'm not apologizing. I know that too. He stepped closer, hands sliding gently along her arms. "Does this scare you more?" he asked. She shook her head. "No, it scares me less." His lips tugged into the faintest smile. She placed her hand on his chest, over his heartbeat. It was racing. Fast. Hard. Just like hers. "Leo," she whispered. "What happens now?" He covered her hand with his, holding it there against him like it belonged. "What happens now," he murmured, "is that I stop pretending." And then he kissed her. Slowly. Deeply. Hungrily. But not rushed. Not uncontrolled. He kissed her like he'd imagined it too many times. Like he'd waited long enough. Like he wasn't going to let anything interrupt this moment ever again. Her hands slid up to his shoulders, her body melting into his arms wrapped around her waist, pulling her closer, guiding her gently but firmly, as if he already knew the shape of her. The kiss grew warm, then warmer, then impossibly sweet, as if he was memorizing every second. When he finally pulled back, they were both breathless. His forehead rested against hers. "Lisa," he whispered, voice rough, "if we cross this line, I'm not going back." She cupped his jaw softly. "I don't want you to." His eyes darkened with something deep and certain. He kissed her again, quicker this time, like he couldn't stop. But suddenly, Logan's voice echoed through the intercom. "Boss, you home? I need to talk to you. Something urgent came up." Leo broke the kiss with a groan that could have been legally classified as frustration. Lisa's heart hammered. "Logan? Here? Now?" Leo looked at her with a mix of fire and irritation. "I swear," he muttered, "if one more person interrupts us tonight." She laughed breathlessly, but the tension returned instantly. "Stay here," he said, voice protective now. "I'll deal with him." He brushed a thumb across her lips, like he didn't want to leave, and then stepped away. She watched him disappear down the hall. Her fingers touched her mouth. Her heart tried to escape her chest. Her body still tingled from his kiss. But beneath all of that, something else began to take shape. A single, terrifying, beautiful question. When Leo returned after talking to Logan, what would they be? The kiss changed everything. But Logan's urgent arrival may change even more. Lisa sat on the edge of the sofa, fingers pressed to her lips, still tasting Leo's kiss. Her heart hadn't slowed once since she arrived. Every sound from down the hallway made her chest tighten. She didn't know what Logan needed or why he had come at that exact moment, but she knew one thing for certain. She didn't want the night to end without Leo telling her, clearly finally, where she stood in his life. The muffled voices grew louder as they approached. Logan and Leo rounded the corner, mid-conversation. "I handled it," Logan was saying. "I just didn't want you hearing it in the morning and throwing a chair." "I don't throw chairs," Leo muttered. Logan smirked. "Okay, you throw harsh words. Chairs would be less scary." Then Logan spotted her. His eyes flicked from her flushed cheeks to Leo's unbuttoned shirt, then to the space, small, too small, between them. "Oh," Logan said, hands lifting slightly. "Oh, wow. So we really interrupted something." Lisa felt heat rush to her face. Leo shot Logan a glare that could have melted steel. "Logan, leave!" "Already on it," Logan said, backing toward the elevator. "Also, congratulations, maybe? I don't know if I'm supposed to say that yet." "Logan," Leo repeated. Going. Logan waved at Lisa. "Good luck surviving him." The doors closed. Silence washed over the penthouse again, warm and electric. Leo turned back to her, not rushed, not angry, not impatient, just determined. He walked toward her slowly, each step measured, as if he didn't want to scare her away, now that his walls had finally cracked. Lisa's breath caught. He stopped right in front of her, close enough that she could feel the warmth radiating from him. "Where were we?" he asked softly. Her heart fluttered. "You kissed me." "Yes," he said, lifting a strand of her hair between his fingers. "And I'm not finished." But he didn't kiss her again yet. Instead, he sat beside her, turning his whole body toward hers. "Lisa," he said, voice lower now, gentler. "Before we continue, I need to say something clear, without interruptions." She nodded slowly. He held her gaze, steady, intense, vulnerable in a way she had never seen before. "I don't want an assistant," he said. "I want you. I want you in my life, in my home, in my arms, and I'm done pretending it's something I can manage through rules and schedules." Her chest tightened, but in the best way. "You're the only person who gets under my skin," he continued. "The only one I think about at night. The only one I wait for in the mornings. You make my world louder and softer at the same time, and I don't know how to function without you anymore." Lisa felt tears sting her eyes. "Leo." He leaned forward, brushing his thumb gently under her eye before the tear could fall. "I want you," he repeated. "Not as my employee. Not as something temporary. I want something real with you." Her voice shook. "I want that too." He let out a low breath, one that sounded like relief, tension, and desire blended together. Then his hand slid to her waist, guiding her gently onto his lap. Her breath caught. Her knees straddled his thighs, his arms wrapped around her, strong and steady, as if he had waited forever to hold her this way. The city lights glowed behind them, reflecting off the windows, painting the moment in warm gold. "You fit here," he murmured against her jaw. "Perfectly." Her fingers slid into his hair, and he closed his eyes like her touch grounded him. "This doesn't change your work," she whispered. "I don't want people thinking I got here because—" He cut her off by resting his forehead against hers. "Lisa," he said, "you earned your place long before I admitted anything. And starting tomorrow, you won't be reporting to me anymore. We'll restructure the office, adjust roles. Nobody will say a thing." Her eyes widened. "Really?" "Yes. I already spoke to Logan about it." "Today?" she asked. 2 days ago," he admitted, lips brushing the corner of her mouth. "Before I was ready to tell you. But I knew I couldn't keep you as my assistant and keep my hands off you." She gasped softly. He smiled, one of those rare smiles, the kind that broke through his stern facade and made him look younger, freer. Then he kissed her again, slow, warm, deliberate, not rushed, not hungry like the first time. This one was a promise. His hand traced the curve of her back, hers slid along his jaw. The kiss deepened, but never crossed the line. It was intimate without being explicit, romantic without being overwhelming, exactly what they both needed to feel safe in this new world they were stepping into. When they finally broke apart for air, Lisa rested her head against his shoulder, feeling his heartbeat steady beneath her cheek. "You're shaking," he murmured. "You make me nervous," she whispered back. "You make me human," he said. She laughed softly. "That's debatable. Don't push your luck." They stayed like that, quiet, close, breathing each other in, until she finally pulled back enough to meet his gaze. "What happens now?" she asked. His thumb brushed along her lower lip. "Now? You stay here tonight." Her heart leapt. "But not in the way you think," he added softly. "Not yet. I want to hold you. Nothing more. I want you beside me when I fall asleep. I want you to start tomorrow in my home." Her breath trembled. "Leo, I can't rush you," he said. "And I won't. We move at your pace, not mine." Those words alone made her fall a little deeper. She nodded slowly. Then, "Yes, I'll stay." The relief on his face was so genuine it made her chest ache. He kissed her forehead gently, then guided her off his lap and stood, offering his hand. "Come, I'll show you the guest room." She raised an eyebrow. "Guest room?" "For your things," he said, "but you're sleeping with me." Her cheeks burned. "Leo." "To sleep," he repeated firmly. "Only sleep." She squeezed his hand. "Okay." The night was quiet and perfect. Lisa changed into the spare clothes he offered. Soft, oversized, smelling like his detergent. She washed her face in his marble bathroom, feeling like she was stepping into a life she hadn't known she wanted. When she emerged, Leo was already in bed, sitting against the headboard, reading something on his phone. He looked up when he saw her. His expression softened. "You look beautiful." She blushed, slipping under the blankets beside him. He set his phone aside, turned off the bedside lamp, and pulled her gently against his chest. She fit under his arm like she was meant to be there. He kissed the top of her head. "Good night, Lisa." "Good night, Leo." She fell asleep listening to the steady rhythm of his heart. The next morning, sunlight filtered through the curtains. She blinked awake slowly, warm and cocooned in Leo's arms. He was still asleep, face softer, lashes long against his skin, lips relaxed. He looked nothing like the intimidating man who ran half the city. He looked peaceful. She didn't move. She memorized him. But then his eyes opened, finding hers instantly, as if he'd been aware of her even in sleep. "Good morning," he said, voice deeper than usual. Her cheeks warmed. "Good morning." He brushed a finger across her cheek. "Are you real?" She laughed softly. "Maybe." He pulled her closer. "Don't disappear." "I'm not going anywhere." He exhaled quietly, a content breath she'd never imagined hearing from him. Later that morning, as they entered the office together, but separately, people noticed something different. Lisa's smile, Leo's relaxed shoulders, the way he looked through the glass walls toward her desk more often than before. Logan passed her on the way to a meeting and whispered, "Told you he wasn't that scary." She nudged him with her elbow. "Thank you. For everything." "Anytime, sweetheart. Now go make the boss less grumpy. It's your job." "It's not my job anymore," she reminded him. He grinned. "Exactly. Now it's personal." That afternoon, Leo called her into his office, not for work, not for schedules, but simply because he wanted to see her. She stepped in, closed the door, and before she could say anything, he tugged her gently against him and kissed her cheek. "You're mine now," he murmured softly. Lisa smiled. "And you're mine." Logan passed by the glass wall, saw them, and raised a thumbs up. Leo ignored him completely. He pressed his forehead to hers. "No more hiding," he said. "Never again," she agreed. That night, they left the office together for the first time. No lies, no pretending, no boundaries to cross or break. Just two people in love. Leo took her hand as the elevator doors closed, and for the first time, he didn't let go. And Lisa knew. She had walked into that office months ago searching for a job, but she had found her future. And Leo? He had found the one thing he never knew he needed, a reason to soften, a reason to laugh, a reason to love, a reason to be human. Before you go, I'd love to ask you for a small favor. If you enjoyed this story, please subscribe to the channel. It helps me more than you can imagine and keeps these videos coming. The link is right below the video, and if you're watching on TV, just point your phone's camera at the QR code on your screen. With this simple gesture, you support a creator like me in the most powerful way. Thank you so much, and may God bless you.